Okay, good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. Welcome to the April 13th, 2026 City of Burlingame Planning Commission meeting. For all in attendance today, please note that this Planning Commission meeting is being held in person and using the Zoom webinar format. Please note that we are not accepting remote public comment during commission meetings. Agenda item number 2, roll call. The record should note that 4 members of the commission are present this evening. Vice Chair Shores is absent. Agenda item number 3, report of remote participation. There are no commissioners participating remotely. Agenda item number 4, review of agenda. Staff, are there any changes to the agenda?
We don't have any changes to the agenda, but on behalf of staff, I would like to first acknowledge that on April 6th, the City Council voted to appoint Commissioners Horan and Lowenthal to another 4-year term on the Planning Commission. So congratulations, Commissioners Horan and Lowenthal.
And unopposed.
This evening, we'd also like to acknowledge Audrey Say for her years of service on the Planning Commission. Audrey's term expired on April 7th, and she decided not to reapply for another term. Audrey has served on the Planning Commission for a total of 8 years. On behalf of the Community Development Department staff, we wanted to express our sincere appreciation to your dedicated service. Audrey, why don't you come up? We wanted to express our sincere appreciation for your dedicated service. It's been a pleasure working with you, not only these last 8 years, but for many years before that, just over the counter. And we look forward to working with you for many years to come. And now I just wanted to turn it back over to Chair Horan for additional words.
Thank you. Yeah, Audrey, thank you so much for serving the city and as a colleague on the Planning Commission. I looked up May 2018, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were married. So it seems like a very long time ago. I think looking at the minutes, it's several hundred projects that you've had a hand in guiding the city. And as a new commissioner 4 years ago, I learned from your example. Audrey was always amazing at comparing elevations to plans, finding errors, but also really ensuring that the designs of our homes and commercial establishments are adding to the fabric of Burlingame. I'll carry on your obsession with making sure doors have a roof over them so that people don't go wet when they're trying to get into their homes. And just thank you again for 8 years of service to the city. Maybe turn it over to my fellow commissioners.
I was just going to say thank you. I remember when I started and you were just starting out to be chair, actually, and we were doing everything remotely. So it was a challenging upskill to learn from everybody. But Chris has a nice point: is every commissioner brings some pet thing or peeve that they add value to all of us to continue to look for, to try. And because, we can't possibly have been in enough places to know how every situation works. And I think that between the broader group, it really helps to be able to take that knowledge and understand it and continue to apply it forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Pfaff?
Yeah, I just want to say, as a layperson in architecture, so I love design, but I'm a layperson in architecture. Thank you for helping me unmuddle some of these plans and understand them. And you have amazing attention to detail. That I'm a detail person too, because the devil is in the detail. And I really have appreciated you as a colleague. And even beforehand, when I'd watch you, you had really helpful remarks. You caught things that I thought were really important. And I think altogether for the community, very important to have someone like you on the commission to really tighten up plans and make them the best that they can be. So to thank you. And I thought you were going to be up here. Oh, how sweet. My cat eating it and touch. Oh,
Yeah, and just to conclude, because I wholeheartedly agree, being a new commissioner 4 years ago, you were able to kind of settle the waters for me to know how to do this job. And you did it professionally. And what always struck me was the amount of aha moments that you gave applicants. You made their projects better. They took your words to heart. And I think we saw a lot of changes based on your feedback. And so hopefully we can live up to that number. It's going to be a challenge, and we're going to miss you. So thank you, Audrey.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to just say it's been a complete honor for me to be serving these last 8 years. I can't believe I remember like when I started the second term, I thought, okay, my youngest daughter is going to be graduating from college when I finish my next term, and here we are. She's graduating next month. And it's just been such an amazing experience and time. I've learned as much from all the commissions over the years that I've been a part of, and definitely from you all. I think that it's such a great body that we can have to really make our city more beautiful, more complete. And I, hope I've made a difference in the city. I've really enjoyed working with you all, and congratulations to Chair, are you still Chair Haran, Commissioner Lowenthal for your reappointments. And do we have another person joining, or is it going to?
No, the new
Oh, okay.
5.
5, okay. But anyway, it's been so wonderful. I'm gonna miss you guys. I actually was prepared for today's meeting. And I
You can stay as a member of the public.
right. But and also staff been incredible. So it's just been a complete honor, and I just really have appreciated and every moment that I've had over these last 8 years. Thank you so much for all your kind words and the beautiful plant. And I guess I'll let you all continue forward on your agenda tonight.
Okay, agenda item number 5, public comments, non-agenda. Members of the public may speak about any item not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for future Planning Commission agenda may do so during the public comment period. The Ralph Brown Act, the state local agency open meeting law, prohibits the Planning Commission from acting on any matter that is not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on any item that is not on our agenda? That's on the agenda, so there'll be another opportunity for you. Thanks. Great. Seeing no other comments, agenda item number 6, consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered to be routine. They are acted on simultaneously unless separate discussion and/or action is requested by the applicant, a member of the public, or a commissioner prior to the time the commission votes on the motion to adopt. This evening, we have one item on the consent calendar, approval of the March 9th, 2026 Planning Committee meeting minutes. Would any member of the public or Planning Commission like to pull this item for discussion? Seeing none, commissioners, comments, motions?
I'll go ahead and move that item, the meeting minutes from March 9th, 2026, item 6A is approved.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Pfaff, a second by Commissioner Lowenthal. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 4-0-0-1. Agenda item number 7, action items. Item 7A, 1355 DeSoto Avenue. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, the application is for a major design review and a special permit. The applicant proposes to add 259 square feet to the first floor and 290 square feet to the second floor. The existing detached garage will not be altered. There is a request for a special permit to have the first and second floor additions match the existing plate heights of the first and second floors. The application came forward to the commission as a study item on February 23rd, 2026. Several suggestions were made by the commission at that hearing and are listed in the staff report along with the applicant's responses and the revisions to the plans. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the application for major design review and special permit as conditioned and with the findings in the resolution. That concludes staff's introduction for the project, and the applicant is present to answer questions.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Good evening. My name is Grant Lee, and I'm the architect for the project. I'm joined this evening by the homeowner, Ryan Kearns. We thank you for having us this evening again, and we took your comments last time, and hopefully we've made a good project better and have sufficiently responded to those comments. Did want to highlight that in addition to those comments, we did grow the second floor bedroom that's facing the rear yard a foot, which doesn't really change the massing or design of the project, knowing that in the life of their home that they probably won't undertake another renovation. They wanted to take advantage of growing the envelope to the degree possible. And for that reason, the change was made. Otherwise, we'll take any comments or questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No, thank you. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note that speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you. Commissioners, comments?
I was just thumbing back through the drawings versus the renderings. And if I'm not mistaken, you were changing that rear corner where the tree is to the stucco to match the rest. But then I was looking at the drawing elevations and I think it's the same.
Let me reopen the public hearing. Have a dialogue with the applicant, no problem.
Trying to pull it up.
We have it on the screen now. So
Oh,
proposed rear, it's the top elevation there.
Right.
So it shows stucco there now. And then Erica, maybe you can go to the left side elevation, I guess.
oh, sorry. Maybe I got confused with the previous version there in the drawing.
Mhm.
I was thumbing through and I saw siding and I thought we took that out. Sorry. All good. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll close the public hearing. Other comments, commissioners?
Well, I'll go. Thank you for what I think is a vastly improved project. I also very much appreciate a few of the windows. You did put the divided lights in there, a few of them. And it's a nice compromise to kind of pull the thing back in and make it whole. I thought that was a really good addition. And I think it's a really superior project. I love the project in the beginning anyway, but I think this is even better, and that's our job, I think. So,
Thank you.
I'll reiterate, same thing. I think the project has gotten better and I appreciate the extra effort that you guys put into it. And I'm looking forward to seeing it happen. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you reflecting some of our comments and the revised drawings, and the freshening up and reuse of an existing home is always great to see as well.
So I'll move to approve the project as per the staff report and the resolution.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion from Commissioner Lowenthal, a second by Commissioner Schmid. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, may we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 4-0-0-1. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $924, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, agenda item 7B, 1505 Drake. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Seeing none, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, the applicant now proposes to demolish the entire existing single-unit dwelling and carport and to retain the existing detached garage on the site. Major design review is required for the new two-story, 2,942 square foot single-unit dwelling. The applicant is requesting a special permit to allow a 48 square foot second floor balcony at the rear of the house. The project also requires 2 front setback variances. The minimum required front setback for both the first and second floors is 23 feet 1 inch, where the proposed first floor setback will be 20 feet and the proposed second floor setback is 18 feet 8 inches to the bay window. This project was heard by the Planning Commission as a study item on March 9th, 2026. The Commission's suggestions at the hearing and the applicant's responses are provided in the staff report. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the major design review and special permit and variances as conditioned in the resolution. I'm available for questions of staff at this time.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Good evening, Commission. Tim Rudines, project designer. In the spirit of keeping this quick and tight, we really took your comments to heart in regards to having, the 2 larger houses on each side. We did push the house back to the 20 foot, which was kind of your approval of last design review. We opened up the entry door, recessed the door farther so you actually have an area to stand in. We kind of, as you can see by the 3D, we got a much better 3D this time. We also have a kind of a dedicated little area to sit to the left. One thing we did do is update kind of our landscape with a new facade wall. I'm open for any questions, but I think we did kind of take to heart all of the comments that you had at our first design review, and the owners are here to answer any other questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Seeing no questions, do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note, speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Commissioners' comments?
I'll go. I really appreciate the changes. I feel like it's now within the spirit of trying to make it as conforming as possible without, I think, making it any worse for anybody else. I love the design from the very beginning. My only issue really was the setbacks, and I appreciate being able to set it back. And I think that the 20 foot is a very reasonable compromise given the average on that block. And I think it fits well with the adjacent homes. So I think it looks great, and it will be a good addition to that block. Thanks.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I like the design to begin with, and I think these changes have just elevated it. Front door looks very obvious now. Hit that. So I can find for the second floor balcony, the first floor setback, and the second floor setback.
Yeah, I think, Tim, I knew you could do it, right? Just had to do it. So I think this is really significantly better, and I believe significantly better, and it's really a very fine design, and really appreciate you listening to our comments.
Ditto. Do we have any motions?
I'll make a motion that we approve the project per the resolution and including the front setback dimensions per what we agreed to, as well as the side setback, and then also the rear balcony special permit.
So just point of clarification, the applicant actually eliminated the side setback variance by complying.
Right.
I just wanted to make a note of that.
That was so good.
And so sounds like you're recommending approval based on the findings for the variances for the first floor setback and the second floor setback at the front, as well as a special permit for the second floor balcony at the rear of the house.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I can second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schmid, a second by Commissioner Lowenthal. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye. The motion passes 4001. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $924, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 7C, 1431 Laguna Avenue. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Seeing none, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, the applicant proposes to demolish the existing single-unit dwelling and detached garage and to construct a new 3,307 square foot, two-story single-unit dwelling with a detached one-car garage. The project requires a major design review application. The subject site is located in the special flood hazard area, which requires that finished floors of living spaces be constructed at or above the base flood elevation plus 1 foot. For this particular project, that would be 15 feet. The applicant is requesting a special permit for a detached garage to be located in the rear 40% of the lot with a 1 foot 6 inch side setback, where 4 feet would be required for any part of the accessory structure that is forward of the rear 40%. Staff does have one suggested change for the commission to consider, which is that a window should be added to the second floor bedroom at the right front elevation to alleviate the blank wall and to make the design more cohesive. Staff has added to condition number 2, wording to clarify that the windows will be fiberglass with simulated true divided lights with muntins on the exterior and interior of the window and space or bars between the glass. Staff is recommending approval of this major design review application and special permit as conditioned in the staff report. Finally, staff would note that as specified in the zoning code that became effective April 1st, 2026, this project was not required to first be heard by the Planning Commission as a study item. Therefore, the application is before this commission as an action item that may be approved with the suggested conditions, approved with revised conditions, continued with direction, or denied. That concludes the introduction, and I can take questions at this time.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for staff?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. So on this garage, what, they're asking for a variance to be so close to?
It is confusing. So in the rear 30%, if the entire accessory structure or garage is in the rear 30% of the lot, the required side setback would be 1 feet 6 inches. If it's in the rear 40%, they can still do 1 feet 6 inches with a special permit. Forward of the rear 40%, they would be required to have 4 feet. So it's a special permit to keep that 1 foot 6 inches, and the whole structure's in the rear 40%.
And so just to clarify, and for these plans, the ADU and the garage are separate. They're not one structure. Or are they?
They're attached?
They are attached.
Yes, they're attached.
So we cannot comment on the ADU, or, I mean,
You can never comment on an ADU that meets the state regulations.
but if it were separate, we could comment on the garage.
You can still comment on the garage, just not on the ADU that's attached to the garage.
Okay.
So no changes that you might ask for the garage can be applied to the ADU.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Hi, my name's Denise Venerucci, my husband Gary.
Oh, sorry, are you the applicants or neighboring property owners?
Oh, we're not the
Oh,
applicant.
Okay,
this is
well,
for the
come to that.
applicant first.
Yeah, just hung,
Go next.
yeah.
In yard.
Right, we need to speak to the applicant first, so we'll come to you in just a minute. Thank you, thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yep, no
Worries.
worries.
I assume the applicant is online.
We are looking now.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, commissioners. Yes, I joined remotely and I couldn't get my video camera to work. Apologize.
No worries. Can you start? Is there anything you'd like to say about your project?
Yes. So my family and I bought the property recently, and we're excited to develop a new home that my family can grow in. We're committed to building a home that fits into the neighborhood and is a positive addition to the city.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I have,
Commissioner Pfaff?
yeah. So I'm curious on the roof, actually all the roof overhangs, all of them, the eaves.
Mhm.
What's the depth of the eaves on this home?
16 inches.
16?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, hi. I think there's a little bit of an issue of rendering versus elevation, and perhaps in the next go around we can increase the quality of the rendering. But in the front of your landscape plan, which also we would appreciate a little bit more detailed landscape plan in the rendering, there seems to be a step up right where the faux veneer meets the ground. Is that just a rendering error? Because in the elevation, there's the faux veneer that seems to run to the ground and then the steps that lead to the front door.
Right. There's like a declining elevation in the front yard that will block most of that. I think in this elevation, we didn't really render the landscaping.
Okay, so maybe you're saying the rendering is not quite accurate.
Yeah.
I see. And then the intent is to wrap that faux stone cladding around the entire house?
Yes.
And I assume there will be crawl space vents in that cladding?
Correct.
Okay. Are you opposed to adding a second floor window as staff recommended?
No. Right now we have a window on the right side of that room. I just didn't want in the in the future for my kids to climb out onto the first floor roof there. But yeah, I'm not opposed to putting a window there.
I totally understand. And then on the first floor, the main basically front section, the window seems a little small and it just seems a little plain. Would you be open to maybe enlarging that window or maybe adding some more detail around the trim of that just to give it some more curb appeal?
Yeah, we can consider some architectural details that will
Okay, thank you very
enhance
much.
it.
Through the chair, if I may, just keep in mind on the renderings, while we do encourage applicants to make them match the elevations as close as possible, you are reviewing and improving the elevations, not necessarily the renderings. So the renderings don't have to be exactly correct. They're there to really just give you an idea of what the mass and bulk and what the design of the house will look like. For example, on the last project, I think it really helped out a lot. Sometimes the elevations, the way they're drawn, is a little bit hard to kind of understand what the design intent is. So just keep that in mind in terms of renderings. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I have another one. So are so the windows that you do have in the front, you have on the lower floor on the right, is that window the same size or smaller than the one on the left side, second floor in the gable?
That should be the same sizes. I
They're supposed-
believe they're both 6 feet. Yeah.
Okay, well, and then have you considered, just because of the proper hierarchy, actually, of what looks good with the design, making the lower window somewhat larger? Because to me, it looks completely undersized. It might be an illusion, but even still, have you considered that, or?
I didn't notice, but now that you mention it, it does look undersized. I can, should I make it wider? I think that will help.
Yeah, even just all around, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can enhance that window.
Okay, and, all right, those were well, I have a question about the garage, but I'm kind of confused with what I can ask and what I
You
can't.
can ask about the garage.
Well, the garage seems to me, so it's pushed up further, right, than we would have seen had it been pushed back with the proper,
Mhm.
yeah, so, have you considered maybe some attention to detail, maybe a overhanging roof or something to match what you have? Because to me, it detracts, it's taking away from the design of the home, to me. So I'm
Right.
just wondering about the level of detail there, so something,
Um,
maybe
yeah, I can,
maybe the door, or I don't know, something's not quite right, but.
I think if we look at the 3D renderings, maybe we can get a better understanding of it. Then I think there's one that's like towards the front view. Yeah. So
So it has an overhang, or it doesn't have an overhang? Does the part that we see, not the ADU, I'm talking about the garage. So it looks on the rendering that there's to me, anyway, does not look like there's an overhang or anything, just looks sort of,
So those are questions, right?
yes,
So
questions.
yeah, so on elevation A 3.3, it shows no overhang.
yeah, I think we can add an overhang in the front. That's no issue.
Mm, Just the front, nothing on the side,
Um,
because. Anyway.
If we add it to the left side, I mean, I'm okay with it, but then it's kind of close to the fence.
Is there a reason why it's not just an A-frame?
Because the whole house is kind of elevated due to the base flood elevation. If we look at the
Mhm.
other elevation, there's a deck. Can
I
we?
Mm-hmm.
There's like a really high deck that
I see.
if you're on the deck, you kind of can reach the roof. which
I
is a
see.
little,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for explaining that.
Through the chair, if I may, the eave extension along the side of the garage may also be limited because the eaves cannot extend to property line.
Right.
So my guess is that's why you're not seeing an eave there, is because it needs to be cut off and it cannot extend to property line.
Right, that one I figured, but I was just wondering about the front or anything else. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Any other questions for applicant? Okay, now we have a member of the public wishing to speak. Please note that you're limited to 3 minutes each.
Hello, I'm Denise Venerucci and Gary. We are at the rear backside. Our house backs up to 1431 Laguna.
Mhm.
And we're not opposed to the second story. I'm sorry, I've never done this before, so I had to write it out. Addition, but we're very much concerned about the placement of the proposed windows facing our backyard as designed. These second story windows create a direct line of sight right into our entire backyard. And it's all of our private outdoor and living area spaces. They look into our bedroom, into our dining area, onto our patio. We've been there for many years and we do a lot of entertaining. We have a very large family. Because our house is so small on the inside, we do a lot of our living in our yard. So we have 2 second stories on both sides of us, and their windows happen to look down into the right and left of our yard. The only privacy I had was just a small area of our bedroom windows that I could actually go out if I want to take trash out in my pajamas, that nobody could see me, but I have to sneak along the wall. But now with their second story, we're just asking if they could please maybe relocate the rear windows to the side of the house. Just respectfully asking the commission to require our privacy mitigation measures, such as relocating those windows to the side of the house.
Are there any other options for
Right.
that?
Yeah, we'll discuss it during the comments,
Um,
but we appreciate your feedback.
You're going to be like fish in a fishbowl. We have zero privacy whatsoever, zero.
Yeah, not to mention it's taken away our view of the trees over by the railroad tracks and all disappearing.
So that we understand. We're not opposed to the second story. I'm just very much opposed to the second story windows above that have a straight line direct right into all of our backyard.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Any other members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
So, good evening. My name is Bill Rundle, and I'm Colin's neighbor at 1427. And some of the questions have already been answered, but I have a few more. This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. So I'm just wondering, in terms of the timing, when does the project begin, and how long will it take? I mean, I know with construction, it can be.
So these are not questions that we can actually answer.
Okay,
That would be, I would recommend reaching out to your neighbor,
okay,
if they've got an architect or, somebody on board,
okay,
to help coordinate. Sometimes the architects reach out to the neighbors, sometimes they don't.
yeah,
But we do not have any purview over timing
okay,
or really anything about construction that might impact you,
okay,
whether it be noise or stuff happening.
okay,
It would be more that you would need to coordinate with their people to get those answers.
okay, okay, that makes sense. Few others while I'm here.
Yeah.
And I assume that would be the case in terms of the work schedule, in terms of starting time, and that would be something,
There are hours
Yeah.
that
yeah,
that are that they have to work between.
Yeah,
posted on the building department's website.
yeah,
I want to say 8 in the morning,
yeah, I think it's 8 to 7.
8 to
8 to 6. Yeah. So, and
Or-
Monday through Friday.
and Saturday is 9 to 6.
Yeah.
Contractor guy knows.
No holiday.
Yeah. So,
But that's what they would be needing to do. And if they're not following that, then you would then contact
Yeah.
code enforcement.
as far as proposing a later start time, like 9 o'clock on weekdays and 10 o'clock on Saturdays, is that something that
They won't do it.
they won't do it? Okay. Yeah.
Every contractor I know actually wants to be on site at 6.
Right, right, okay.
I think the best approach here might be to ask all your questions and then the commission
Yeah.
can
Okay,
respond.
Point.
okay, yeah. So, all right, so, okay, some other questions include, and I did email these to the city of Burlingame, so you might have a copy of this, I'm not sure. It was sent on Sunday. Um, uh, If not, I have a copy for you, but, so who do we call if we have questions or concern while the work is being done? I'm assuming that's the owner. Other questions include, how far will the side of the garage be from the property line? The plan seems to indicate that it would be 1.5 feet away from the fence. And per the regulations, doesn't it need to be 5 feet away from the fence? So I'm a little confused without, in the drawing, it says 1.5 feet. And we had some remodeling done recently, and our contractor said you pretty much have to start 5 feet away from the fence. So a little confusion there. And I think I overheard that if you have a special permit, you can do the 1.5 feet. It seems to be the case. Let's see, also, we did notice that the house is elevated quite a bit. It has an unusually tall crawl space or basement. And I'm assuming this is for flood concerns because we are on a floodplain. But I did see that they did maximize the height of the building. It's 30 feet. And so they took that to the maximum. Let's see. Oh, and just a question, will the mini split condenser and the heat pump water heater behind the ADU near our fence make any noise? I just noticed that the ADU does have some mechanical things there and noise is a concern. So yeah, once again, I did email this. Is it possible to get answers to this through the email as well?
I can address a few of them and then,
Oh, okay,
so I think
okay,
first two questions, the third was who to call.
yeah.
Certainly you can start with the owner,
Mhm.
neighbor, but you could also call the building department or construction if there's any issues.
Okay,
The 1.5 feet, I think staff has addressed that. This is a
Mhm.
special permit.
yeah.
The garage is within the rear 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Special permit would allow them to have a 1.5 foot side setback.
Oh, okay,
The height of the building is driven by the flood requirements where they have to
Mm.
get that first floor up higher.
yeah.
As you mentioned, it is below the 30-foot limit, so it's
Mm.
been the planning guideline, doesn't need a special permit.
Oh, okay,
And then the mini split, there are noise requirements for exterior HVAC systems, so they'll have to meet a certain decibel level in order to place that unit.
oh, okay, okay.
Right, and staff would like to acknowledge that we did receive Mr. Rundle's email. However, in going through the questions that were being asked, they were not under the purview of the Planning Commission, so therefore we did not forward them to you. The staff planner will be working on addressing the questions that could be addressed by planning, which many of those were addressed this evening. But we will also be reaching out to the property owner to try to help get answers to your questions, or we'll at least put you in contact with the property owner just so you can start that dialogue.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I ask a question on the windows? Is there a way that if they can't relocate them, to either put clear story there or frost the glass window?
Sure, those are all things that the neighbor could do, window coverings, frosting. We'll discuss it during the comments
Would really
among the commission.
appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Thank you. I'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments?
I'll go.
Sure.
I think that the drawings still need quite a bit of work to help clarify items and to help the design show through. The renderings are pretty flat, and therefore I really feel like we're relying on the elevations, which are also flat. There's a certain amount of detail that would really help this project. You know, there are the brackets that are included in the gable ends, but they're really undersized for what they're doing. They need to be probably twice as big to start to add any design detail value. And really, if you're going to go with a bracket style, you probably need to add a few more details to really bring this to fruition. Think adding and considering the gutters and downspouts that are going to need to happen for this roof. There's quite a bit of valleys and places where water's going to have to go. And I think you're going to have, when you really think it out, you're going to have some odd spots to be bringing down gutters. And now's a much better time to think about it than when you're in for building. And I think that, you know, on the garage, it's a single pitch roof and it's actually pointing all the water at the neighbor. So you are going to have a gutter at the very least on that side. So it might as well be detailed in correctly so that it looks good. And then how does that then fit with the rest of the building? Because it feels like it's lopsided. I think that, you know, the stone around the bottom is a nice add for a house like this that is going to be taller due to the flood zone. I understand that, and that's a good use of that. I think it needs a little bit more detail. The stone that you're showing as a material is a pretty flat one. And I think you need to consider the detail transition from the siding to the stone and maybe how that might pop out a little bit more so that the stone looks intentional instead of just stick on. That's what I'm afraid will happen with that stone. And there's a few examples of that in town where they've done that and it has not turned out well. So I think that there needs to be more detail there. I think the crawl space vents are important. I think you need to figure out how many crawl space vents you're going to need for this square footage and how you're going to address that and to thoughtfully locate them. These kinds of things seem like they're building department pieces, but they actually add detail to the house. And at this point, this house is lacking detail. So I think putting in everything that is needed would be quite helpful. Using the Hardy board system, we have found that almost everybody has to do corner boards in order to make it work. And we're not showing any corner boards here. And there again, more detail that actually, if you include it, will help your drawings look better and be more realistic to what you're going to end up doing anyway. The post that's supporting the front porch overhang, it looks just like a 4x4. It looks unattractive. It doesn't add any value. Just supporting it, and I think it needs to have some detail to it that adds value. I think you need, the railing needs a little bit more definition of what it is so that it works with it as a whole. It looks on the drawing that it could just be a fake steel railing, which isn't going to look attractive with the design that you're choosing. There's a bunch of steps at the front coming down off the front porch and going down to the sidewalk going to the front. There's no indication of railing there or anything like that. I'd be a little worried about people falling and there not being a railing there. So something to consider. The front window that was discussed earlier, undersized for a ground floor location such as that. I would consider making the window a little bigger. You don't have to make it gigantic, but you could then look at other details to put something over the top as an eyebrow, or actually a planter box underneath with some brackets supporting it, which would then start to give it, more options as a face than just one eye. So there's some detail there that could really, really make that benefit. I think that the 16-inch overhangs on the main house are a really good thing. And I think once you get the gutters in there too, it'll start to articulate that better. I think that the garage is just coming out. It doesn't even look like an accessory structure. It looks like a shed. So I would encourage you to try and work with that a little bit more. And I understand how close it is on one side, but still need to make it look attractive because it is closer to the front. It'll be closer to the front visually than a lot of the garages that are up against the back property line. I think sorry, I just had a long laundry list.
Keep going.
And I'm hoping this will help everybody else. I think that the privacy issue that you have, I sympathize with you. A lot of time, put windows on the side. We're looking right into somebody's second-story bedroom that's only 8 feet away, versus on the back of the house, which is going to be 25 feet away. So I understand that, but I also know that they're going to need to have light too, and hopefully they will put in some window coverings. But what I can suggest, though, that I think needs to be considered is more attention paid to the landscaping. And particularly, the renderings and elevations don't show any of the landscaping really. And so we're missing that whole piece of how you manage visibility. I think that there, more than that one tree in the corner, that doesn't help you. It helps the people kitty corner. But I think that really they need to be considering a more substantial landscape solution along that back to help alleviate that privacy issue. And it may be something that you guys will want to consider too, is adding some landscaping at the back side of yours to help that, because things change.
I'm sorry, the public hearing.
There's no dialogue once we're in. Sorry, that's not your.
So I think that I think this landscape plan could use more work in that back area to try and improve how we communicate with our neighbors. This is really looking like a lot of house and no soft space transitions in between. And so that's not going to work out very well for everybody else. I appreciate you listening to me rant, and I pass it along.
Thank you, Commissioner Schmid. Other comments?
Yeah, so I had a lot of similar comments. I'm going to piggyback regarding that front window. Agree completely. Eyebrow, everything looks, it may be the drawing, but everything looks very flat to me. And an eyebrow would really help over a somewhat larger window. And definitely a window box or something. I mean, even if you added another unit you've got 2 of these. If you added 12, kind of going sideways. If you added even the same size but wider, you've got 3 of them instead of 2, just something, and then a window box underneath, decent corbels or whatever they're called, something with depth that would help, I think, a lot on that side. certainly agree with staff about having a window upstairs, totally necessary. And I just want to mention with the garage, we have a very old house. Our house has a garage way to the back, but we have probably a foot to the property line. And I'm just going to say it's impossible to maintain, impossible. So, I mean, once you have a fence up, you can't get there. It's really bad. So you really might want to reconsider the space you have there. And you know, even if you went to 2 feet, it is a problem. And I think even working on the door, the garage door, some kind of detail, some overhang somewhere, but not into the neighbor, that would be really helpful. And then finally, as my colleague has addressed the issue of privacy. It's something all of us deal with. Personally, I think the answer's done with landscaping, and it's just very meager on this particular parcel. And even if you have sufficient landscaping, that's one layer, but it's really helpful to have the neighbor have another layer. And all the layering is really great, and that is just completely lacking on this. I think the landscape plan needs to be completely refined, redone, personally. You know, maybe there's space for one of those trees in the front, maybe it can go in the back here. And it's a tree, a real tree, not just, you know, a bush or something. There's one more thing I was going to say, but might have forgotten. Okay, if I think of it, I'll chime in again. But I think my colleague had summed it up pretty well. Oh no, I remember what it was. Can you give me the page with the front, with the pillar and the so I'm just wondering if there's a reason why I think an undersized pillar post column, thank you. It's a little too small to be a column, but I'm just wondering why it's there and not towards the corner. To me, it doesn't look in the right spot. To me, does not. You know, and even if you needed 2 of them, I don't know. So it's just something is not right. It's like I can't decide what it's supporting. So those are my comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Fox.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. Just a few things. I agree with my fellow commissioners wholeheartedly. I would, number one, say, please reach out to your neighbors. It helps a lot in communication. You have some privacy concerns. You have some construction concerns, which could be alleviated by a simple phone call or knocking on the door. So we, as a planning commission, highly recommend that take place. In regards to privacy, I also agree with my fellow commissioners. The only other thing I can see in the floor plan is that one of the windows is in a master bathroom. So maybe that window can be brought up and maybe shrunk down in height. The other one is in a bedroom. You'll have 2 other flanking windows in that bedroom. So again, that window might be able to be brought up in height. But again, these conversations can be had person to person, neighbor to neighbor, and a lot can be alleviated. And I would just say, as a contractor who works in Burlingame a lot, you have a robust and very good building department that you can always call upon if you don't think that they're following the directions and the rules, but there are very explicit construction hours and operation and so forth. In terms of the overall design, I would just echo everything my fellow commissioners said. I would highly recommend that instead of doing a picture frame hardy fiber cement trim around all the windows, I would do a paint grade trim with more detail, you know, with something that has more interest than just a picture frame. We're using, and it's okay to use simple products. I understand that, you know, not everyone has the appetite for design or budget to do expensive products. But when you're using a lot of synthetic products, like on this project, little bits of hand-applied detail like paint grade molding can go a long way. And I do know that with hardy cement siding, you're not going to be able to pull this off without corner boards. It just will not look good. You won't be happy with the end result, I promise, and you're going to end up with never-ending caulking battle. So I would recommend looking at that, and it would absolutely help the depth of the project. Overall, the project's fine as it sits on the lot. It just needs to be dressed up a little bit. And I think the drawings need to be worked on a little bit. And finally, the landscaping, I think will help a lot, both in rendering and in actual function. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Lowenthal. I'm probably going to be a bit repetitive just to highlight some of my issues with the current design. The windows overall on the house are just, they seem to be sized in a strange way. The second floor windows are as big as the first floor windows in many instances. So we've already talked about windows in general. The garage definitely doesn't look right in elevation. I think the shed with the very shallow roof just doesn't go with the house. So either adding detail, depth to the overhangs, changing the roof pitch might all help make it look like it belongs with the main house. The main house has 3 different roof pitches on the roof. I think you just need to look at the roof pitches to see if there's an opportunity to align, especially that right side. And that peak, it's interesting. That's one of the bigger windows in a small kind of peak area. So again, it doesn't work for me. I agree on the siding. I think this project will look cheap. The finishes are actually cheap, and I think it's going to be very difficult to make this house look like it belongs in Burlingame. These are very expensive lots, and when you cut corners on the quality of materials, it shows. This is one of my observations as I walk the neighborhoods. A lot of people are buying cheaper and cheaper materials, and it's obvious. So I would encourage you to invest more in high quality finishes. I'm especially concerned about the stone veneer. At the front of the house, it's 5 feet tall, and that stacked stone veneer really doesn't look good, especially in a 5 foot tall section. If you use that, you're going to need to put a lot of bushes and landscaping to hide it. But I would strongly recommend that you reconsider the quality of that material. And then I agree on the landscape plan. Commissioner Lowenthal, thanks for pointing out that one of those rear rooms is a bathroom. I don't think it needs 2 large windows, so there is opportunity to change the window size. But between landscaping, the distance from the rear yard, and just being neighborly, I think there's opportunities for you to address your neighbor's concern there. So I am happy to make a motion with all of that. But maybe just to confirm that we'll continue this item? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so in the spirit of continuing the item, I encourage you to take into account the following commission feedback. The window on the second floor front on the right-hand side should be added to that bedroom. The first floor right side window is not sized properly, should probably be relatively bigger. And have more detail, such as a flower box underneath or a roof above. There's issues with the garage. It's too plain. It has no overhangs, no details. It doesn't show the gutter on the left-hand side, and the roof pitch is very flat. The roof pitches overall on the house, there's 4 different roof pitches, 3 on the house, and then a 4th on the garage. So please look at those. There are insufficient details on the house to add interest and depth, such as gable end brackets and other details that you should consider. Please show the gutters and downspouts and how you're going to manage water in the future design. Again, the window sizing overall to look at the upstairs or second floor and first floor windows relative to each other. And try to address your neighbor's concern on the rear second floor windows. We talked about finishes. If you do go with the Hardie, then it's going to have the corner boards. Corner boards are not a preference of the Planning Commission because, again, they look cheap, but you'll be driven in that direction by Hardie, so you'll have to show those details on the next go-around. And there was a specific recommendation to use paint grade window frame details as a way of dressing it up and not just the picture frame hardy product. I do agree on the porch design. The porch post is in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of blocking the window in front of it, and it seems like it should line up with the edge of the porch and not the second floor above. But you know, we won't dictate where you put it. It just doesn't. It looks like it's in no man's land right now. And I would say the design of the porch railings could end up looking cheap. So that overall porch design, including the dimensions of the post to make it look substantial. Please come back with a more developed landscape plan that shows more trees, more screening for neighbors, and just more interest overall. Did I miss anything?
I think just the rail, that's probably a code requirement. The rail on this, did we say that? The front steps? Handrail. Handrail.
Oh, to show a handrail on the steps.
Personal safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably argue that he's less than 30 inches from the ground,
Oh, I see.
but it's going to create a problem.
I don't know. That's 5 feet up according.
It's 5 feet up.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so consider the zone or the code and safety for handrails for the front staircase. Do I have a motion? Well, I'll make a that's my motion. I have a second.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Chair Haran, a second by Commissioner Schmid. So again, this is to continue this project. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye. The motion passes 4-0-0-1. Do I read this or no?
No, because it's been continued.
Right. Thank you. Item 7D, 218 to 222 Lorton Avenue. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Seeing none, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, this is an application for major design review for exterior facade changes and a 395 square foot addition to an existing commercial building in the Burlingame Avenue Commercial Zoning District of the Downtown Specific Plan. The commercial building consists of 3 tenant spaces, 218, 220, and 222 Lorton Avenue, as well as an existing warehouse and storage space at the rear with alley access off of Hatch Lane. The proposed project includes remodeling the front half of the building to combine 2 existing tenant spaces at 2018 and 2020 Lorton into one larger tenant space. This will also enable an entry access to the existing warehouse from Lorton Avenue. Changes to the front building facade consist of removing the existing awnings, refinishing the facade, and closing the existing first floor covered entry. And proposed finishes for the new facade include cement plaster, manufactured concrete stone trim, and manufactured stone veneer cladding. Proposed also are new aluminum and glass storefront doors and a new folding glass and aluminum door. The existing recessed entries will be replaced with a downlit metal canopy to identify the pedestrian entrances. This project was at the February 23rd, 2026 Planning Commission hearing as a study item where the commission had one suggested change, and the applicant's response is detailed in the staff report on page 2. For reference, staff has included the requirements of the Commercial Design Guidebook and the Downtown Specific Plan in the staff report. Finally, staff is recommending approval of this major design review application as conditioned in the resolution. I can take questions at this time.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name, and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Good evening. My name is Robert Medon. I'm the architect. Thank you for having me back again. I appreciate all your comments from last time. I did have a pretty good conversation with the owners about some of the recommended changes, and we did actually end up staying with the same design. We did talk to staff a little bit at length about some of the comments, and I think we're going to lean towards possibly on that right entry, introduce maybe some signage that'll be like a blade signage or something that's more appropriate for coming down Lorton to attract people into the business, but it's also a destination, not so much a retail space. So it's gonna probably not need to be as, I don't know, like the two adjacent storefronts that need attractive signage and so forth. So as it sits, we're going with the same design. I'm here to answer any other questions you have.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Well, I did read the response, and I think we all pretty much had the same comment about the super, super tall entry. I'm not sure I entirely understand the explanation, but you're trying to is it that you're trying to distinguish yourself that through fair, if I could use that word, from the retail? It's trying to be different.
Yes, yes, a destination versus
A destination. So, I don't know, did you consider some other kind of insert there that would be, I mean, I'm thinking of all kinds of things that could be if you didn't want to do stucco, but I'm just wondering, did you consider some other piece that even if you kept the architecture like, or the structure like this, a piece that could be inset of maybe another element, another design element, metal, something artistic, or just something set in where you cut that height down? To me, the height, it's still a problem for me.
okay.
But that was a comment rather than a question,
I think you're alluding to a portico of sorts.
kind of.
Yeah. And then again, yeah, I do understand. Part of it was also because there's elements in there that we're wishing to preserve, but I'll take,
I'm sorry, what was, part of it was what?
I think we're trying to preserve some of the structural elements and then we're not trying to eliminate that.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. I'll take that under consideration. Yeah.
Any other questions? You okay, Commissioner Pfaff?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The public hearing is open, but the chamber is empty, so I don't imagine we have anyone else. I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners' comments.
I'm not so bad with that entry, and I understand the destination point of it. As someone who goes to Velvet 48 that only has a door, anybody I tell that I'm meeting there that doesn't already go there does find it challenging to find. I think that maybe and maybe what Commissioner Pfaff is alluding to, there's maybe an opportunity on the side wall as you go in that maybe it's not stucco there, but an artistic sign opportunity to create a visual cue. Because a blade sign coming out is one thing, yes, but if you had a blade wall there that you were leveraging for a signage opportunity, I think as you were walking by and you said, "Ooh, cool, what is this?" Then there's another way of attracting attention. Because the recessed door is pretty recessed, which I appreciate that part of it, but just looking for, just trying to offer. Otherwise, I like the project. I liked it before. I think it's going to look nice there and would support it. Just offering branding advice.
Thank you. Any other comments, Commissioner?
Yeah, I tend to agree with both commissioners, and I like the perspective that both gave. I think adding some sort of detail is somewhat subjective to the tenant, and since we don't know exactly what the tenant is, it's a little ambiguous of how we tailor that into a requirement. I don't disagree, and I think the architect can guide the landlord and the tenant in that regard, but I guess I'm also for the project the way it is.
Maybe I have a question for staff, because I understand your point too. Is there anything that would prevent him from creating an art sign along that wall in the future if it's not necessarily included in this design? Right, it's just a sign opportunity that he would come forward as a separate sign permit. You'd review it and you'd say, yeah, I don't have any issues with that, and he'd go. Because I agree, you can't design something for a tenant you don't have. And you don't know if they're gonna have a cool branding thing that you can leverage at that size. But I think it is a design opportunity, and as long as the owner knows about it, then it could turn into something cool later once that tenant is found.
So rather than asking for a permanent piece to go in here, something like an art mural with tiles in that entry or a different kind of material, you are suggesting that their sign become that once they have a tenant?
Well, they could do an art kind of installation there and make a statement. I don't want anything that we do tonight preventing him from being able to come back to do that without a huge pain.
No, it would be evaluated under our sign permit
Right.
regulations.
Which is now a staff. It's not.
And
Right.
would require just a building permit.
Yeah, and I don't want to put a requirement on him now to do something we can't predict. But it's only really just a future opportunity suggestion.
Yeah, I guess hopefully I didn't confuse everybody. I don't even know what the words are that I'm thinking of, but it would you could use the space that's there, this cutout that you have, but that you could set in this whatever this is, the signage piece into that doorway, but have it this, kind of line up with what you've already got with your, what is that? The overhang, with that height, so it all kind of reads consistent, but it's sort of a aha moment, like, oh, this is here. Because I think it could be really cool. So I'm just suggesting, I mean, I love that you're reusing a building, that's all good. But it's gonna need something. And so it would be great if that could be suggested, but that it's not gonna turn into a pain. Whatever the material is, could be really, really cool as offered to someone, and not a pain, kind of just set it in, screw it to the sides. It's not even really a sign, though. That's not a sign necessarily.
Could be a wall treatment.
Yeah, wall treatment, a wall, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Pfaff. Yeah, I think I'm aligned with Commissioner Lowenthal. These are good suggestions, but I wouldn't want to restrict the approval based on these suggestions. It's really up to the landlord and the tenant, I think, to do something like that. Since this is the second time back, I think it's a good-looking facade, and I would support it.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this project per the resolution. There's really nothing special else on the approval, so that's it.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion by Commissioner Schmid and a second by Commissioner Lowenthal. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 4-0-0-1. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $924, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations. Agenda item number 8, study session. There are no study sessions this evening. Agenda item number 9, staff and commission reports.
Yes, I just have two reminders to share with you. The first is the You Belong Burlingame event on April 25th. Netta, the Community Development Director, sent you an email about hoping to get 1 or 2 commissioners to participate in that. There will be a commissioners table where the public can come and ask questions, and you can share with them kind of what the commission does. And, there's going to be other community events going on there too. But I don't know if anyone responded to that or if we were hoping to get at least one commissioner to attend that event. So please think about it. And if you can respond to that email, if you don't have the email, just let me know and I can forward it to you.
Thank you.
That is on April 25th. It's from 11 to 2. It's a Saturday and it's at the recently unveiled town square. So the other reminder I had for you was the annual joint city council and planning commission meeting coming up this Wednesday, April 15th. It's at 5 p.m. It's going to be at the Burlingame Community Center in the Maple Room. We sent you all the agenda for that meeting. On that agenda is just a presentation and discussion of the Bayfront specific plan. So that's the focus of the topic that will be on that evening, and there will be some sandwiches and goodies there too. So those are the two items that I had for you.
Thank you. Commission, any reports? Okay, seeing none, the meeting is adjourned at 8:25.
Thank you.